one thing, we always should prefer the comfort zone of the skeletal. Second thing, we always should know the limitation of the joints and move as per joint move. We should not go against the joint movements. Namaskaram. Whenever we are practicing any kind of physical activities or when we are performing any asanas, there will be a chance to get injuries, and most of the cases injury will happen in the joints, such as knee pain, wrist pain, ankle, back pain, neck pain or shoulder. All injuries will happen in the joints. So how to avoid these injuries during practice? And for this, there are mainly two things that we need to understand. First thing, we need to understand and we need to see what Maharishi Patanjali said about the posture. He said, Stiram Sukham Asana. Steadiness and comfortable must be there in the posture. When we say comfort, we are not talking about the muscular comfort. There are two different levels of comfort. The comfort in the muscular level and the comfort in the skeletal level. For example, whenever we are traveling or whenever we sit, if you sit with the collapsed back like this, obviously we feel more comfort because this is a comfort for the muscles. But they said you need to sit straight or erect spine like this. Obviously this is not comfortable, but this is comfort for the skeletal system. So whenever we are practicing or we are doing any kind of postures or any kind of physical activity, we always should prefer, the priority should be to the comfort zone of the skeletal system. And that's the comfort we are talking about. Because if you consider the comfort on your muscular level and slowly the weight will transfer to the joints or to the skeletal system, and that's where it will lead to injury. So whenever we are doing any kind of physical activities, that we have to and we need to prefer and give priority to the comfort zone of the skeletal system. And second thing, whenever we are practicing any kind of physical activities or asana practice, we need to remember and we need to understand the limitation of the joint movements and how it can move. And as per that only we have to move. For example, every joint have its own limitations. The joint of the shoulder, it is like a socket joint, it can able to rotate. But the knee joint, it is a kind of a pivot joint, it can only flex in this way, an extension. It cannot able to flex in a different directions. So whenever we are doing stretching, for example, when you're doing form bending, normally what we do is we straighten our leg completely and we're trying to push down to stretch our hamstring. So in this situation, what happens here now, we are trying to push our knee in. So here we are trying to flex the knee in a different direction, and this may lead to injury. So what we have to do is you have to bend a little bit to protect the knee, and then we're trying to stretch our hamstring. So these things will apply for every joint. We need to understand the limitation and we have to move through that only. So these two things we need to remember while we're practicing. One thing, we always should prefer the comfort zone of the skeletal. Second thing, we always should know the limitation of the joints and move as per joint move. We should not go against the joint movements. Hope this video will be helpful. Thank you so much.